Instead of being set in Norway, it's set in movie Colorado, which is filmed in Alberta and Norway.
Yeah, some bits in Norway. I guess the Canadians didn't have enough snow.
Hi, I'm Vernon and this is Kit, and we just watched Cold Pursuit. Kit, what did we just watch?
We watched a very good imitation of a Tarantino or Guy Ritchie movie.
Liam Neeson plays the man with a really boring job but with a very specific set of skills. He doesn't know why his son gets killed. It's reported that his son dies of heroin overdose when it's not. It's a gang hit of some sort. Liam Neeson gets to kill a lot of people in order to find out what happens. Then he kills a lot more people after he finds out what happened.
Yeah, I like the movie, but I think you put your finger on what is a potential problem. Right from the start, he carries all this baggage from Taken and all the other action movies. So we already have an idea of him as this action guy and killer.
He has a very boring day job. In fact, he's not supposed to have the skills that he has. Maybe it looked believable, unbelievable, but it was very fun to watch Liam Neeson kill a lot of people. It's a revenge movie, basically.
I liked it because it was like very original, very inventive.
Despite being a remake.
The director of the original Norwegian movie also directed this one.
And his name is Hans-Peter Moland.
Even though they had a different writer, it's based on a novel,
right.
And the writer of the novel wrote the screenplay for the original Norwegian movie,
which is called In Order of Disappearance. Instead of being set in Norway, it's set in movie Colorado, which is filmed in Alberta and Norway.
Yeah, some bits in Norway. I guess the Canadians didn't have enough snow. Movies based on books are normally better. They normally have better plots, and movies that are remakes are also even better, because that means that the original movie was already a success. And this one really does prove it. It's a good movie. You just don't know what's going to happen.
You just know Liam Neeson's going to kill a lot of people. But who? We don't know. How? We don't know.
And they make all the characters seem very human, even the bad guys. They show their personal life, they're quirky, they make jokes, they fight among each other. And even the minor characters get very nice one-liners. So everyone feels, they don't feel like they are some stock bad guy character.
Yeah, they feel like it's more of an ensemble cast, like how the Coen brothers would have done this. What I liked about this movie is it's both sort of a revenge movie and a comedy at the same time, but the comedy is not laugh out silly. It's more of really, really, really dark humor.
Oh yeah. I wanted to watch it partly because the trailer had this like a dark humor thing going. But there was actually less humor in the movie than I expected based on the trailer.
The humor in this movie is based on two things. You can see how the gangsters are a lot less menacing and a lot less competent than they usually are portrayed.
That also made them really human and likable.
It's human, likable, and funny at the same time, which I haven't seen done that well since Get Shorty.
Or Tarantino.
In Pulp Fiction, where part of the comedy comes in the comedy of errors in what should be a genre film, where you expect all the good guys, the bad guys, the guy taking revenge, the gangsters on both sides, the police, detectives to be really, really competent. And in this film, no one's actually competent aside from Liam Neeson.
It all seems very believable. Even Liam Neeson, because he doesn't have any like fantastic kung fu or gun skills. He's just very simple, direct action, and that's enough to knock out the bad guys.
Never underestimate the willpower of a guy who's out for revenge.
There was some like good details. Like you kind of suspect that the sheriff is a bit dirty. He actually knows what's going on, but he's turning a blind eye.
Yeah, but it's all done in a way that isn't spelled out for you, which
Yeah.
is kind of great.
Yeah. Do you think Liam Neeson is a good choice, or maybe someone
Okay.
else with less action movie baggage would have been better?
Okay, the original film called In Order of Disappearance starred Stellan Skarsgård, and if you watch the trailers for that film, it's kind of very believable because Stellan Skarsgård is not what anyone would envision as leading action film character. It's quite believable on that level that no, he's just this guy who's really harmless looking and not in great shape. But then when he starts killing off everyone, then the believability factor kind of gets thrown away or peters off. But that is part of the comedy of the original film. Comedy of this particular film is in the stunt casting of Liam Neeson.
I actually like the bad guys a lot better. They seem to have better, quirkier lines.
Yeah, because Liam Neeson does play a really boring character. He's single-minded, whether he's focused on his job or whether he's focused on revenge. He doesn't have much to say.
Laura Dern's character wasn't necessary. She could have been cut out.
She plays a long-suffering wife who becomes even more estranged after their son dies. She starts questioning why Liam Neeson doesn't talk much at all, and then just leaves.
But the good news is that she doesn't have a secret plan that she doesn't tell anyone about.
Yes, her own plan to enact revenge, which Liam Neeson, by enacting his plan, spoils. That would actually have been a great idea. Come on, you were waiting for that to happen, right?
No. A side note, we live in the tropics, and so we might view a movie set in like deep snow country quite differently from people who actually do live in snow country. I don't know whether the choice of the setting is supposed to have any impact on the story or not. I'm just wondering whether, like, if they'd set it in on an Indian reservation or in Miami or in a non-snow in Hawaii, would it have made a difference?
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned this because I think there's in the past few years there's been the rise of what some people call the polar Arctic noir.
Oh, okay. Oh, Insomnia.
Like Insomnia, for example,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I watched Insomnia. I loved it.
So
People didn't like it.
It's a noir. The story is a noir or subset of noir, but instead of darkness and fog, you have lots and lots of bright sunlight and snow that's really glaring at you.
Yeah, but in this movie, they didn't expose to show the snow as really bright and glaring, and a lot of it was like evening or night.
Yeah, but what you do see is Liam Neeson driving a big boy snow truck.
Snowplow. In Insomnia, they did make a big deal about the environment, about the long days, giving Pacino insomnia.
Hence the title of the film.
Yeah, and even though it didn't really contribute directly to the plot of the movie, it did add something to the atmosphere of the movie. Whereas here in Cold Pursuit, I didn't really feel any atmosphere from the snow.
It's not that overt. The snow here basically affects the calculus of decisions that people make. You don't stay out in snow for too long. If you're kidnapped, you can't run out to safety because all around you is just snow. You freeze to death. If you watch this as a revenge film, the question we would ask is, number one, did this become a parody of itself? Did this become too bloody? Did you lose sympathy for the character who's taking revenge? In all three cases, what are your thoughts?
I wouldn't break it down in such a detailed way. It would just whether it works overall or not.
Okay.
I think it would be like instructive to look at a negative example. For example, the first Punisher movie from about 12, 15 years ago, the version with Thomas Jane. And it starts off with this very obvious setup with him having a happily family life with his wife and his son. And it's really obvious that the family is there just to give him an excuse to go crazy and start killing
Once they
people.
get killed.
Yeah. Which is a common problem with these revenge movies. Where a positive example would be Man on Fire, where the friendship between Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning does not look forced or artificial. It's not set up, just as excuse for the revenge later on. So if they spent almost like half the movie on building that up. So if you had stopped the movie at that halfway point before the revenge stuff, it would have made a perfectly good movie on its own. Whereas Cold Pursuit went the other extreme. They didn't bother to build up the relationship between Liam Neeson and his son.
But obviously, the fact that Liam Neeson goes through all that trouble to find out why his son died, who killed his son, proves that he had a really strong relationship with his son. Non-verbal, obviously, because he can't tell Laura Dern, his wife, what he and his son talked about when they went hunting together.
So what this shows is that it's not necessary to go through this like obligatory
30 minutes of character building in a genre film.
For revenge film. Yeah, I mean, if your revenge film, just go for it. You don't have to justify it. We'll understand.
For me, did this go from comedy to outright parody? Thankfully, no, even though the casting of Liam Neeson would have set off some alarm bells for that potential happening, but it didn't. Did we lose sympathy for Liam Neeson's character? I don't think so. And I think the end, the very odd ending where Liam Neeson and the sole survivor or the sole survivors from the final shootout at the end share a ride on a snowplow, it's really touching, and it kind of brings everything back. After the revenge, after all the killings, everyone's still able to chill out and have a long car ride. For a 2-hour film, this is very long for a noir film, and it still works.
I think it works because it's not really a revenge movie. The revenge is kind of like an excuse. It's more a straight action movie.
Okay, an excuse for what?
Action.
Okay, it's not an excuse of Liam Neeson killing off people.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Okay, the way I look at it, it despite the 2-hour length of the film, this works because it's structured more as a series of skits in which the punchline is someone gets killed.
After somebody gets killed, they have this little title card on the screen. They show the name of the guy who dies.
And his gang name.
Which is, a bit amusing. But then after the final massacre, the massive gunfight at the end, they show like 12 names up there. It was like, whoa, okay. So even though they played it for laughs, they also played it for drama, and it worked. I'm curious about how a non-movie buff for the general movie-going public would view this.
You can tell us right below.
That's all we got. And remember, if you click like and subscribe below, an angel smiles.